Okay, we are solving for all values of x by factoring for this quadratic formula. So we have, or by this quadratic equation, so x squared plus 6x minus 12 equals 4. Now the first thing I need to do is make sure the right side is at 0. And to do that, that means we need to subtract 4 from both sides. This minus 4 from the negative 12, that is negative 16. And now we have a, which is 1, b, which is 6, c, which is negative 16. Okay, and then we're going to take factors. We need, well, factors of a times c, which is just 1 and negative 16. So we're going to do factors of 16. Okay, that's going to give us a sum of 6. So we need to do 1, 16, 2, 8, and then 4 and 4. And so what we do now is to say, okay, well, since our c is negative in this case, go ahead and set up our two factors. Our c is negative, so that means we're going to have a plus and minus. And then when we look at the b term is positive, so our bigger factor needs to be positive. So we're going to take, this is a subtraction problem, and we just need to figure out which one of those subtracts to give us our 6. And of course, this is going to give us 15, this will give us our 6, and this gives us 0. So the two factors we want are 8 and 2. 8 is the bigger factor, b is positive, so 8 needs to be the plus part. So 8 minus 2. And you set each of those to 0. And then you look at each individual factor individually, separately, as being equal to 0. How do I make x plus 8 go to 0? Well, that means x needs to be negative 8. And over here, x minus 2, how does it go to 0? Well, that means x would have to be 2. Okay, so we have two solutions. We have negative 8, positive 2. Okay, let's try one more. We go x squared minus x minus 35 equals negative x plus 1. Okay, so x squared minus x minus 35. One of the first things I notice as well on this problem is that there's a negative x on both sides. So those are going to immediately cancel themselves out. And then this plus 1, again, we want to make the right side go to 0. So we would make all of this go to 0. We're going to subtract 1 from the negative 35. That's going to make this go to negative 36. And then to factor this, one thing is that a is 1, our b is 0, and our c is negative 36. So if we find factors of 36 that cancel each other out, really you just have to think of one number is going to subtract itself. So from the very beginning, it's 6 and 6. That's the only way you're going to get 0 by adding or by subtracting them. Keep in mind your c is negative, so we already know that it's going to be x plus, x minus. And so if I subtracted these, I'm going to get 0. So it's x plus 6, x minus 6, which means the two solutions are going to be x equals negative 6 and x equals 6. One too many solutions there. So 6, negative 6. Okay, and let's do one like this one. Okay, so we're going to take x squared minus x minus 6 equals negative 6. Okay, again, from the very beginning, I noticed that the negative 6 is on both sides of the equation, so they're going to go away. That's just going to leave us with 0 on the right side. And so now I don't have the constant term on this one, so what I can do is factor out an x from each of these here. So we have x times, what do I multiply x by to get x squared? Well, I need an x. What do I multiply this x by to get the negative 8x? Well, I need it to be minus 8. And that's going to equal 0. Okay, now setting this up, in order for the whole equation to go to 0, if I focus on this first x, that would mean if I set that x to 0, then I don't care what x minus 8 gives me, because that would be 0. And then over here, what I get for x minus 8, how do I make it go to 0? Well, that would be x equals 8. So the two solutions on this one are going to be 0 and 8.